Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to provide an update on our district goals for the 2022-23 school year. For our new board members, this is an annual practice for us. Typically, district goals are provided to our board over the summer for input. They are officially approved at the beginning of the school year, and then I always provide a January update, which is helpful for you as a reminder of what we pledged to be working on, and a reminder to me so that if there are areas where we need to move more quickly on some things or certain objectives have sort of lapsed, then we still have a good bit of the school year to get some work done. So as a reminder to our community and our board members, we are working under a new strategic plan. This past spring, we had some board members, we had parents, some really amazing students and staff members participate in a 2-day strategic planning process. The mission statement is not new, that is unchanged from previous years, but our strategic goals are new, and for the next several years, we'll be working with 2 strategic goals. The first is that members of our learning community will design student-centered opportunities that require active student engagement and the authentic connection to real-life experiences that strengthen creative problem-solving, critical thinking, leadership, community service, and social impact. The second goal is that members of our learning community will receive support for social and emotional awareness and mental and physical health in order to flourish, demonstrate empathy, and celebrate the diversity of all. So if we look at our progress toward the first strategic planning goal, which also is known under the hashtag World Connections, this is what we've been doing so far. And when we presented the district goals in September, we really pledged that only the first 2 objectives were going to be a focus this year, because there's a lot of getting everyone on the same page, doing some initial learning at the administrative level before we begin to bring work out for our teachers and the rest of our staff. So under the 2 objectives of communicating a definition of deeper learning and promoting it with a common understanding so that we're all talking the same talk. And then objective number 2, research and evaluate deeper learning practices that meet the needs of all learners. This has been our focus since September, and what we've been doing so far is our administrative group, which is all of our school principals, vice principals, and supervisors, just concluded a leadership book study using the text Creating Cultures of Thinking. Principals are now taking specific articles and strategies that we've gained from that reading, and they're sharing that out with their school faculties. And we are also at some of our schools piloting classroom walkthroughs to highlight critical thinking strategies, effective teacher language, and thinking routines. Because we all know that it's one thing to read and study about something, but to see it in action and to be able to then take that and replicate that in your own classroom is extremely valuable. Our principals and supervisors are attending sessions. They're very pompous about this, I have to say, through Harvard University's Project Zero program. Wait till on Parsippany High School College Day, they're wearing the Harvard University sweatshirts. On such webinars as The Power of Making Thinking Visible, Creating Cultures of Thinking, and Let's Play, Teaching Strategies for Playful Learning. So Dr. Mulrooney and I were part of one of these webinars with Mr. Gray, who just left with his students earlier. And it's an opportunity for our administrators to engage in study with teachers and administrators, not only from across the United States, but from New Zealand and from South America, and to have these marvelously rich conversations about how we're moving forward that important work in each of our different school communities. So that's going on right now. We're having discussions with our teachers about critical thinking strategies and making that a part of our pre- and post-observation conferences. Instructional walkthroughs have begun for elementary guided math practices. Anna Marie Russo, who's one of our supervisors, has really been at the forefront of letting teachers visit and walk through other colleagues' classrooms, particularly for guided math. And then also we are embedding professional learning during our professional in-service day schedules. So this has been a good way for us to understand what it is we want to be working on, and then being really strategic about how we are now rolling that out to our faculty members. If we look at new course proposals, many of these also are directly correlated to our strategic planning goals. Under health and wellness, there's a lifetime fitness class that will be available for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders that would really focus more on giving kids an opportunity to participate in those sports and those events that really become lifelong activities, like golf, like step class and yoga and Pilates, because we want, just like we want kids to be readers when they leave school, we want them to still be active and recognize how important physical activity is for a healthy mind and a healthy body. In our humanities department, we are introducing 2 electives, Music Tech 1 and Music Tech 2. We actually have a high school student right now at Parsippany Hills who's doing this class as an independent study, and he's been a tremendous student advisor as our teachers begin to work on outlining what the curriculum for these classes will be. And then finally, within our STEM programs, these aren't necessarily brand new classes. Some of them are just replacing outdated titles, outdated content. So we're including a course called Data Science Math, which replaces probability, statistics, and discrete math. And then we're bringing in 2 different semesters, which is replacing what had been a full year of college algebra. Semester 1 is Elements of Algebra, Semester 2 is Intermediate Algebra, and these classes are recognized by the County College of Morris as incoming math credit. So students who take this would be typically, if they're successful, waived from their entry-level math class at the County College of Morris. And then an Introduction to Cybersecurity course, which is going to be really exciting. That's in addition to the other 3-prong series we have where students can walk away after 3 classes with certification in cybersecurity. When we look at strategic planning goal number 2, which works under the hashtag Their Future is Bright, these are the objectives and the activities that we have accomplished so far. You actually heard some of our middle school students explain a little bit about their advisory program, and that certainly is a big part of what we're doing under the objective of establishing programs and opportunities for the development of a district-wide culture of wellness. Our board members will remember that many years ago, we implemented a Sanford Harmony program in our elementary schools, which is an approved curriculum for teaching self-advocacy skills, leadership skills, conflict resolution skills. And what we did this year was our elementary principals were able to utilize a new midday meeting opportunity to outline common expectations for those lessons, because the number of lessons we needed to do each week and the order in which we covered the curriculum 5 years ago, pre-COVID, is very different from what we want to be doing now. The advisory program at Brooklawn and Central Middle Schools and at Parsippany High School is well in place, and you heard our Central Middle School students talk about that. And then at the Hills High School, those staff members are working with a climate committee, which includes students and staff, and a restorative justice program. There is a middle school schedule committee being led by Dr. Mulrooney. That is in place to recommend programs to support students not only as they enter middle school from our grade 5 classes across the district, but also as those students are then transitioning to high school. So when you ultimately get recommendations from that committee, it will include such things as elective classes that are going to be proposed, not likely for this coming September, but for a year from there. And then we're also looking at such things as minor revisions to the schedule that would allow students to perhaps not have to choose between an interesting cycle elective or being in band and chorus. We want to try to implement a schedule that really lets anyone who wants to do band and chorus do that and still have the opportunity for electives. And so that's just a peek. You'll hear more from Dr. Mulrooney about that in the future. Our board members know from previous board presentations that students in grades 4 through 12 were invited to participate in parent-teacher conferences. We've included a diversity calendar in all of our monthly district newsletters, and then, as I referenced, a new phys ed elective that will focus on wellness for our students. This slide just highlights some of the topics that have been covered through the advisory programs or through school assemblies. At the middle school, the principals use this as an opportunity to really talk about grade level expectations in middle school and then team expectations in middle school. Fairleigh Dickinson University has a theater group that came in to do an assembly on drugs and tobacco and vaping. There was also both a state trooper assembly and a representative from the Morris County Prosecutor's Office that also did presentations for students on staying drug-free, making good choices. Our middle school student assistance counselor, that's the SAC that we refer to, visited classes to review these topics in smaller groups. So, you know, when you have an assembly, you've got hundreds of kids there. The SAC has been able to visit social studies classes or smaller classes to have conversations with groups of 20 and 25. And then the high school student assistance counselors either have already or will hold weekly open office sessions to provide anti-drug strategies and share information about treatment programs with our students. I referenced earlier that we've been encouraging and teaching our students how to participate in the parent-teacher conferences, and what I've provided for you here is data reported from our school principals about the percentage of students from their schools who participated. I've also provided Central and Brookline information, as well as both high schools. And I'll remind our board members and our public that the high schools only began having parent-teacher conferences last year for the very first time. Last year, when we started those conferences, the focus was predominantly on students who were at risk for not passing their classes. This year, the principals opened it up to everyone, and really promoted the idea that students who are doing well in classes also deserve a conference opportunity, because it's a great time for them to ask questions about not only how they're doing in class, but what classes they might consider for next year. And teachers are really good at promoting their own courses and their colleagues' courses, and so those have been really positive discussions. You see that we had, at the high school, 18% of students participated in the conference, and at the Hills, 26% of the students participated. The other objectives that we're working on within that social emotional wellness objective include providing learning opportunities for our staff members so that they can support the wellness needs. And under that, we've infused different workshop opportunities into our October in-service day and our upcoming March day. And then we also transitioned to a new employee assistance program this year. The Penn Medicine Princeton Health Employee Assistance Program provides monthly health and wellness tips and webinars for our district staff. I will say it's a much more robust program than what we had been operating with under previous years, and it's really super helpful. There's a lot of information out there. There are also free consultation sessions that our staff members can sign up for with health advisors, legal advisors, so there's really a lot there to assist our staff. And then finally, objective number 3, which is to provide ongoing education that would encourage our family involvement and support in their child's overall well-being. Toward that end, we are working on a district-wide social emotional learning day being planned for March. That will likely be handled on a school-specific schedule. So much like we celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday or Read Across America, each principal designs that within their school setting. So the principals will be working on this, and I would imagine partnering with PTA and our district supervisors to really make that an exciting day. And then we also have been providing different, both virtual and in-person opportunities for our parents. We have a very nice partnership with the Goryev Children's Hospital in Morristown, and they provided some webinars for our parents. And then finally, Dr. Michael Bradley, who wrote Crazy Stressed, which we used as a book study with parents several years ago, he has graciously agreed to come in person to our district in March to present one workshop to our staff members and then a second workshop to our parents and staff members wearing their parent hats. That will be in March, and we'll be certainly promoting that a great deal as we get closer to that date. And so, board members, that is an update on where we are at with our district goals at this point. I'm happy to take any questions you might have now, or you can certainly reach out to me later if you think of something later on.